Hey YouTubers, Rival X Factor here with some patch note discussion, some accusations, some M16A3 game plan, some bizarre TDM, and just pay attention to the chat. And yes, I am on my alt, Payonis Rider, so enjoy the footage as we talk about this. The first thing I want to talk about and plant a seed in your head is a possible M16A3 buff. You're going to say, wait a minute, X Factor, the M16A3 isn't in the patch notes. How is he getting buffed? Well, let's talk about some Assault class balance patches previous. A couple patches ago, the M16A3 and the AEK were probably hands down the top two most seen guns in competitive play from Europe to America because of the results and phenomenal time to kills at various ranges. In pub play, you would see a ton of M16, a little bit of AEK, and a little bit more variety. DICE took a look at it. They say, wait a minute, that's not enough variety, so let's buff the M416. So after the buff of the M416 and the nerf of the M16, both in the same patch, you saw the kills kind of tilt towards the M416 due to its low bolt deviation, low recoil, ability to mag dump. It became a very good gun. It became a go-to gun for a lot of people. But it still had a slower rate of fire than the M16 and definitely the AEK. So the people who use the M16 and could learn to counter the new recoil and the AEK recoil were rewarded with those quicker time to kills simply because you're putting more bullets downrange. So although the M416 became very popular in the current patch, there were better options still in the right hands. But all that is going to change again for the people where results matter because the M416 is getting a slight nerf, and here's where the M16 buff comes from. The first shot horizontal recoil is increasing for the M416. So when you nerf a top competitor, you actually buff the other two or the guns remaining in its category. So the next thing I want to bring your attention to is the actual size of this patch list. This is a complete list from DICE's mouth, not mine, and it's very small. We wait forever in between patches as Battlefielders because they only want to patch during DLCs because it's a money thing, I think, with Xbox and the Microsoft network. So it costs them a lot of money to patch and fix stuff in between. We all know there's an absolute ton of bugs in this game. There's an absolute ton of map issues where you can get on top of Metro, most of the close quarter maps, and drop C4, shoot people through walls, and just do all kinds of stupid glitchy stuff. I don't see any of that on here. That's kind of concerning. I will never argue about balance issues because balancing guns is a nightmare, and that's not a job I would want. So I got to give them props for whenever they do adjust stuff, and I can't argue too much with it. All the balance stuff looks pretty good. It looks like well-needed stuff. The M5K was just destruction before, and I think a lot of you guys saw that video where I ripped like 15 or 16 kills off like within 20 seconds. It was something stupid on a close quarters map. That gun was just too good. Even though it did have a lot of vertical recoil, it didn't have enough horizontal recoil, and that's what made that gun OP at various ranges. So they're changing that gun around, which I absolutely agree with. It was an absolute just disgusting skill cannon when used properly. They're messing around with the UMP and a couple other guns, but take a look at it. Nothing too crazy. I think the M16 might be the biggest thing in there. You know, the shake out of, ooh, what's the new top assault weapon? But one big thing that they did fix is the audio stability on the PS3 and input lag on the PS3 network. I can't believe you guys have had any sort of input lag for over a year. I know whenever I install a shooter and I forget to check the setting for input lag, I feel like I want to pull my hair out and shoot myself in the head. It's so bad. That lethargic, slow, drunk aiming feeling where you over-aim, under-aim, then get back on target. Nope, you're over target, got to come back. Nope, too far back. That would drive me bonkers because as gamers, we're about precision. We're about accuracy. That's what an FPS is about, right? If you didn't need that, go play Minesweeper. So, you know, the fact that they're finally fixing that, shame on them, but also kudos to them that they're finally doing something about that. Leave it to DICE to finally do something a year later, right? So now let's talk Armored Kill. Wasn't DICE's most popular expansion, I don't think. Maybe we can talk about that down below. Just by the sheer people in servers and empty servers that I saw compared to the vanilla back to Karkin, close quarters. It just didn't have the pull. But what it did have was rocks, and on top of rocks that you could walk through, hide in, not shoot over, not shoot through. And by that I mean if you get on top of a rock, you could clearly tell you're on top or next to it, but your bullets are being eaten up by this invisible wall both ways, their bullets and your bullets. So it's kind of hard to pillar and play off some of those facades and whatnot. So hopefully they fixed most of those, because some of those maps on Team Deathmatch are a lot of fun. I like them. But with that little issue, it's, wait a minute, I see a guy, can I shoot at him? Wait, he's not taking damage. Oh, wait, he's by a rock. Gosh darn it. And, you know, he can't shoot you, so it worked both ways most of the time. So actually, let's talk about Aftermath for a second. I'm extremely excited about this expansion. I was excited about Back to Karkin, and Back to Karkin delivered. I was really excited about Close Quarters, and it almost delivered, except in my eyes, the spawn system needed a little work. Wish they would have done that in this patch, but I don't see it there. I wasn't too excited about Armored Kill and didn't spend a lot of time in it, but I'm really excited about Aftermath, and here's why. City maps, lots of cover, high amounts of infantry-centric situations, high amounts of gunfights. I crave that sort of fast-paced action. I love Little Birds, I love Vodniks, I love Jeeps, I love what they're doing with the varieties there. I also like tanks and LAVs and stuff like that, but I'm more of a small city map player where there's one or two vehicles, and that's about it. I really don't like the large maps in Battlefield 3, but that's my personal preference. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying that's not me. And you see me trying to have a little fun with these guys, these gamer face guys, because I think they're calling shenanigans on me. But I really want to know what you guys think that they left out this patch note. I really want to know what you guys think about the weapons choices. And I'll tell you something I cannot wait to do. I cannot wait to crossbow bush Wookiees. One of my favorite things to do in Bad Company 2 was hit a bush Wookiee across the map with the tracer dart, so he'd be blinking red like a Christmas tree, and then lock on with an NG rocket and put it in his face. I got tons of fun out of that. And I hope in a future patch that they put the tracer dart in there for one of the rockets at least. Maybe not all of them, but one of them. I had so much fun doing that. So this whole crossbow thing will be unique. I'm sure I will use it. I like how it's replacing a gadget. So if you're a medic, you probably won't be able to use your health kit or maybe revive paddles. I don't know which slot, but we'll see what happens there. So I'm anticipating this. There's going to be a ton of BF3 footage on my channel with the release and leading up to Aftermath. So starting this week, you're going to start seeing a lot more BF3 footage. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to read your thoughts below, guys. And as always, thanks for supporting me. Ta-ta.